Hello there. I have another rule for you in your English section. This is on page 133. We are talking about items in a series. So I want to show you the rule and then I'll show you some examples. This is a very common rule on English exams. And here's the rule. When you have Here's the thing, this is so important. 3 or more items in a series separate them. Let's say separate the items with commas. Okay, and here's an example. The easiest way to see this is with a list. So I'm going to show you that first, and then I'll show you how to put this in a sentence. So let's say that I'm making out my grocery list. This is not a sentence, it's just a list. So I make the heading grocery list and I put the colon there because it's a list. And here's my list. And coffee. Okay. Without the commas, this is hard to read. It's hard for me to tell how many items I need to buy. Okay, so this first one, bread pudding. I have to ask myself, are those two different items? Or am I wanting to buy bread pudding from the bakery? And that's something that only the author knows. In my case, I hate bread pudding, so I want to buy a loaf of bread and some pudding. Those are two different items. So there's one item, two items. Okay, then I have grape jelly. Am I wanting to buy one grape and a jar of jelly, or am I wanting to buy grape jelly? This is 3 items. So 1, 2, 3. Bananas make 4. Milk makes 5. Cheese makes 6. Coffee makes 7. So here's the rule. When you have 3 or more items in a series, separate the items with commas. So I have put in a comma here, 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 and here. Okay. I do want to tell you, because some of you are planning to go on to college, and I want you to know what this means. This comma, this one right before the and, is called an Oxford comma. Some teachers don't want you to put an Oxford comma because they say that the and is enough. You don't need the comma because you have an and. I will tell you, I'm in school currently now. I'm in university, and we are taught to use the Oxford comma. It is on tests that I have seen. I think generally the Oxford comma is expected. But if you go on to college, you may have teachers who tell you not to use the Oxford comma. We're going to use it for the purposes of this video, but I do at least want you to know that some teachers will ask you not to use that. So if you're in college, you need to ask your teacher about whether or not to use the Oxford comma. Okay, let's look at this in a sentence, and I'm just going to write the sentence and then we'll go back and figure out if it needs commas. You may choose coffee or tea. Now, you've already learned about those conjunctions. Remember Boys Fan, where you have 7 of those connecting words? And those are going to help you here. Here is one of those connecting words. That's a conjunction. I have one choice and I have a second choice. So here's the question. Do we need a comma? And let's look back at our rule. When you have 3 or more items in a series, separate the items with commas. We only have 2, so we do not use the comma. What about this example? You may choose coffee, tea, or milk. Okay, so I want to learn to look for that connector word, the or, and I have 1, 2, 3. And the rule says when you have 3 or more items in a series, use commas. So you need it between 1 and 2, and we are using the Oxford comma, so you need 2 commas for 3 items. Your commas will always be 1 less than the number of items. Here's what I mean. Let me give you another sentence. The pet store sells food, treats, leashes, and blankets. So the first thing my eye sees is this connector. And if there's a connector, there may be commas that we need to do. That's what we have to decide. So we have 1 thing, 2 things, 3 things, 4 things. And the rule says if you have 3 or more things, use the commas. So we have 1 comma, 2 comma, 3 comma. You have 4 items, 3 commas. It will always be 1 less than the number of items you have if you've done it correctly. Okay, 1 more and then I'll let this one go. For school, I need pens, paper, books, a binder, and my calculator. So if you're going to class, you need to pack some supplies. That's what this is talking about. So I have pens, that's one thing, paper, my books, a binder, and my calculator. Commas, if you have 3 or more, you need the commas. So here's 1, 2, 3, and I forgot to circle the connector. There's connector. So I'm missing a comma. I have 5 items. I should have 4 commas. And sure enough, there's the one I'm missing. So you have pens, paper, books, a binder, and my calculator. Okay, that is the rule about commas in a series. And we are going to be looking at a lot of these types of rules in our writing exercises. I will see you in the next video. I believe we have another rule or two, and then we'll get into the writing. So I will see you soon.